You ever hear something that just sits with you all day, like it won't leave you alone no matter how much you try to shake it off? Yeah, that was me last week. I heard someone say that most calls from mothers go unanswered these days. Now, I don't know about numbers, never been much for statistics, but I know how something feels when it lands too close to home. And that one landed real close. My name's Eleanor. I'm 72, born and raised in the South, and I've lived long enough to see the world speed up in ways nobody really asked for. Back when I was younger, when a phone rang, you didn't think twice. You picked it up. Didn't matter if you were elbow deep in dishwater or halfway out the door. You picked it up because somebody was calling for you. Simple as that. Nowadays, folks look at their phone, let it ring, and say, "I'll get it later." Funny thing is, later don't always come the way you expect. I raised 3 kids. Good kids, still are. Worked hard, built their lives, got their own routines now. And I'm proud, don't get me wrong, real proud. But let me tell you something folks don't say out loud enough. Just because your kids grow up right doesn't mean you stop missing them. It don't work like that. That feeling don't retire. Other morning, I'm in my kitchen making coffee the same way I've made it for decades. 2 sugars, a splash of cream, slow stir. Ain't nothing fancy, but it's mine. And I start thinking about my youngest, Marcus. That boy used to say coffee smelled too strong, like it had an attitude or something. Wouldn't touch it. Now I bet you anything he drinks it black, quick, probably standing up 'cause he's got places to be. That's life, I guess. It changes your taste whether you're ready or not. So I grabbed my phone, didn't have no big reason, didn't have no emergency. I just wanted to hear his voice. That's it. Just one of those simple things that don't seem important until they are. I hit his name, hold the phone to my ear, and it starts ringing. 1 ring, 2 rings, 3. And somewhere around that 4th ring, you start feeling it. Not worry, not yet. Just that little pause in your chest, like your heart's waiting to see what happens next. Then it stops. No answer. Now listen, I ain't confused about how the world works. People get busy, jobs, traffic, responsibilities, all that real life stuff. I get it. I truly do. But here's the part that don't get talked about much. When you get to my age, it's not about why someone didn't answer. It's about how quiet it feels when they don't. And let me tell you something else. Quiet hits different when you remember how loud life used to be. This house, it used to have footsteps, doors slamming, music playing too loud for no reason. I used to say, "Y'all better turn that down." Now I'd probably let it play all night if I could hear it one more time. Funny how that works, huh? You spend years asking for peace and quiet, then one day you get it, and it ain't what you thought it would be. I read a little story not long ago. Nothing dramatic, nothing wild. Just a woman who used to call her daughter every Sunday. Same time, every week. One day she didn't call, and nothing happened. Nobody noticed right away. Now that right there, that stayed with me. Not because it was shocking, but because it was so ordinary. That kind of thing don't make headlines, it just slips by, quiet as anything. And that's when it hit me. Life don't always change with big moments. Sometimes it changes in the small ones you barely notice while they're happening. These days, people check their phones all the time. I see it everywhere: grocery store, waiting rooms, even sitting across from each other at the table. Phones lighting up, buzzing, blinking, always something going on. And still, somehow, certain calls get missed. Not 'cause they don't matter, but 'cause they feel like they can wait. That's the tricky part right there. The people who love you the most are the ones you think will always be there. So you tell yourself, I'll call back later. I'll check in tomorrow. I'll make time this weekend. And most of the time, yeah, you do. But sometimes you don't, and it ain't on purpose. That's what makes it real. Life just keeps moving, pulling you along faster and faster until the small things start slipping through the cracks. I'm not sitting here upset. Not at all. This ain't about blaming nobody. At my age, you learn real quick. Holding on to anger just makes the quiet heavier. And I like my days a little lighter than that. But I do notice things. You start noticing patterns, moments, gaps where something used to be. A couple days later, Marcus calls me back. I see his name pop up and I smile before I even answer. That right there, that little flash of joy, that's something you don't take for granted anymore. I pick up and he says, "Hey Mom, sorry I missed your call." Just like that, casual, normal. And I tell him, "That's all right, baby, 'cause it is." We talk a bit. Nothing special, weather, work, everyday stuff. But I'm listening a little closer than I used to, paying attention to the sound of his voice, the way he laughs, the pauses in between. 'Cause here's something you learn when you've lived long enough. Ordinary moments, they ain't ordinary at all. They're the ones you end up remembering the most. When the call ends, the quiet comes back, but it don't feel the same as before. It's softer, easier somehow, like it got what it needed just for a little while. So I don't know if that number is true. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't. But I do know this: sometimes it don't take much to change someone's whole day. Not a big speech, not a long conversation. Just a few minutes, just a voice saying, "Hey, I'm here." And if you've ever been on this side of things, you already know what I mean. 'Cause one thing about time, it don't slow down. Not for you, not for me, not for nobody. It just keeps on moving, steady as ever. And all we really get is the chance to catch a few good moments as it passes by. That's it. Just a few good moments, and sometimes that's more than enough. Thank you for sitting and having coffee with me today. If you liked our little chat, I'd be so happy if you subscribe to the channel. We have plenty more stories to share. Until next time, take care of yourself.